Hey guys, what's up? Let me fix the camera a little bit. All right. So I'm back. I wanted to make this video just because I want to talk about Star Wars. I want to talk about the movie. Um, Honestly, I waited this long to make a video or to even review it, just because I was afraid that I was gonna spoil it. That I would not be able to contain myself and talk about the spoilers. Um, Let me just start off by saying that I absolutely loved the movie. The movie was just amazing. Um, it was great. I have no complaints. Um, I have certain complaints. I'll take that back. I have certain complaints, but nothing too major, really. I loved it. It really, I had been waiting for a long time for this movie to come out. The fact that I grew up watching the original trilogy, and I watched the prequels, when I was younger. It resonated with me. You know what I mean? Like, Star Wars just has always been important to me. I used to hide my love for it, because it was like uncool, and I thought I was whatever. Fuck that old me, okay? Now I'm older. I don't give a shit what people think, you know what I mean? So this is me. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? So I I loved it. I love the movie. Um I want to first start talking about, like, the very beginning of the movie. I think that this movie brought action since the very start of the movie. And I love that, because in a sense we get movies, we get action movies that start off very slow and, you know, take their time to build up. This one just right off the bat, boom, 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 action. Like, that's awesome. This movie brought out every emotion, and that's what's great about this particular Star Wars movie. It brings out every emotion you can think of. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it makes you scared, it makes you anxious, it makes you everything, like angry. Every emotion, it brings it out. Um, and it's awesome. It's great. Like that, there are very very few movies that can do that. You know, really, I right off the top of my head, I can't really think of one, but it that's how rare it is. For movies to do that. I loved it. Um, I One of the things that I particularly love about this movie is the fact that, again, right off the bat, we get action, whatever. And one of the greatest things about this movie is the fact that, and it's such a minor detail, but I consider it very important. But one of the things that I love about this movie is the fact that when you see Poe Dameron shoot that stormtrooper, and then, he ends up grabbing the other stormtrooper who ends up to be Finn, his face and the blood smears. The fact that they added blood, I loved, because they made it seem like it was more realistic, like it was actually happening. We haven't seen blood at all in the prequels or in the original trilogy. And I always found that odd. Okay, now I get the whole lightsaber, if you cut it, it won't bleed because it burns the wound, etc. But then, I mean, you could say the same thing about like a laser, because it burnt, whatever. But I thought that that little touch of, like, oh, like, I'm bleeding, I'm dying, and blood, it made it so human, so real, in the sense that it's like, oh, so this is actually happening, you know what I mean? Like, this dude actually got shot and just fucking got killed, okay? And he's bleeding because he's human. I love that. Which leads me to Finn as a stormtrooper. You know, a lot of people were hating on the dude, man. A lot of people were hating on his character um, before the movie even came out. Honestly, he's one of my favorite characters. Finn, his story is so original. The fact that we're talking about a stormtrooper, okay? A character that in all the other six movies, no one really cares about, okay? Yes, there was a little bit of focus on stormtroopers in the prequels because of the clones. But then again, they were all clones, so no one really stood out. There was no really story to any of them. And the fact that they're making this movie and making one of the stars of the movie a stormtrooper, so a character that in reality with the helmet and armor is so generic. The fact that they're focusing on him is incredible. The fact that in that scene, after he gets the blood smeared on his helmet, the fact that he's still wearing the helmet, the suit, you can't see his face, you can't see him acting, but the way he acts, the movements he makes, you could see that he's not having it. He's like, oh shit, what am I doing? That is crazy to me. That's crazy good acting, okay? You can't see his face, yet you know what his face under their, in their helmet looks like. You could tell, like, he's, holy shit, like, that's great acting. And his character is just, it's not only funny, but it's filled with action. It's like, I loved it. The storyline, okay? The storyline of the movie, yes, it's very similar to the original trilogy, to episode 4. Yes. But with those little twists, with those little things that they added, the Finn being a stormtrooper, Kylo Ren not being the main badass, like that added a little oomph, a little extra to the movie, which I loved. It makes it a really good movie. Let's talk about Phasma for a second. Phasma, oh man. What can I say? She was underused. Okay? I said it. She really was. And a lot of people feel the same way. Phasma was a character that was hyped so much in the sense that not only did she look badass, but it was a woman in that position, in that status. It was a woman under that suit. She was the captain of the stormtroopers. Like, she seemed to be fearless. She seemed to be just the shit. And, her character just did not deliver. It really didn't. A lot of people say, well, she's redeemable. Maybe in the next movie she's going to be a badass. And I disagree. And the only reason why I disagree is because I don't know if you guys remember, but in the teaser, in the first teaser, and even I think some of the trailers, the scene where she's walking down that hallway, okay? She's just looking so fierce, so menacing. Like, that's the same scene that they use for the movie to get tackled by, I think it's Chewbacca. There's no coming back from that. If they're gonna use the most badass moment that you see Phasma on screen, the most badass moment, she's just walking like fucking, I'm gonna fuck some shit up, and she gets just tackled, and then she gets a blaster pointed at her face, and she brings down the shields. Granted, yes, I would do the same thing too if I had a blaster pointed at my face. But the fact that they made it funny, rather than like, oh, look how badass she is, and then she puts up a fight and whatever. No, she just boom gets tackled and like made people laugh. To me, there's no coming back from that. Like, there's no way I can take that character serious anymore. And then they throw her in the trash compactor. Like, they made that scene funny. They made it out to be funny. And if you want a badass character in the longest screen time that she has, you make it funny, and you make her look somewhat weak. It's hard. I mean, they might be able to do it. They might be able to bring it back up, but I doubt it. And it sucks because I was so excited to see Phasma. Like, I still love her. The way she looks is badass, but her character, shit. I'm a little disappointed. Which brings me to my next point. it's a funny movie. I love the fact that it's funny. They didn't make it into a comedy, which that would completely have ruined the movie. But they made it funny enough to you know what I mean? Like you get those funny moments that like the same thing. Not Jar Jar funny, okay? Jar Jar funny is stupid, okay? I'm sorry, I don't like Jar Jar. Okay, so I don't think he's funny. I think he's just incredibly dumb and stupid. Okay? And you know what? For all those people that think that the whole Darth Jar Jar, that was bullshit. And even you knew it, okay? Okay, really? No. Fuck that. Fuck Jar Jar Binks. I'm sorry, but fuck him. Anyway, it's a funny movie. I think that the fact that they added those comical moments, even right off the bat, like when Poe Dameron gets captured and he gets brought up to Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren's kind of just like staring at him, and then Poe goes, "Do I talk? Do you talk?" Like that's funny, and that kind of shows his like Han Solo-ish side. He's a smart ass. He's witty. He's like, I don't give a shit. The part where Finn and Han Solo and Chewbacca are storming the Starkiller base, and Finn tells Han Solo like, "Oh yeah, I'm only really here for Rey because I don't know how to bring the shields down." And Han Solo gets mad at him like, "What are you talking about? Like all these people are counting on you. We'll use the Force." That's not how the Force works. Like that's what I mean. It's funny. Like even in a stressful situation like that, it's funny. But they didn't make it silly. They didn't make it like it didn't take the comedy didn't take away from those moments from that movie, which I really like and I really appreciate. Now I gotta talk about Rey. Rey, I expected Rey to be a badass. I didn't expect her to be this much of a badass. Like I love her character. Not to mention that I have the fattest crush on her. But come on, have you seen her? Have you looked at her, guys? Come on, she's a cutie. But no, she's a badass. She is. I would have liked for it to be revealed, who she was, where she came from, whatever. I'll talk about it more in depth. The fact that I think that there was still a lot of questions unanswered, and I didn't like that. That's one of those things that is just like it kind of bugged me, because a lot of the questions that we had, we still don't have the answer to. And it kind of sucks because it's like you would have expected. Now we have to wait another year and a half, for those answers, and it kind of blows. But anyway, I'll get into it more later. But Rey, she's just cool, man. Like, little fun fact. I'll throw it in there because it does have to do about Rey. But little fun fact: if you don't know, and I like to tell people this fact, if you don't know, the scene where she does the Jedi mind trick on the stormtrooper, where she's like tied into the chair thing and in the storm, like she fucking does that Jedi shit. That stormtrooper is Daniel Craig, James Bond. He was in the movie. He did like a little cameo, which was pretty awesome. And the more you watch the movie, I've seen it 3 times already. I've seen the movie 3 times. Hopefully, I can see it more. But the more you watch it, the more you hear him, and you're like, "Oh shit, yeah, that is Daniel Craig. That's pretty cool." So, just fun fact, if you didn't know. I think a lot of people know by now, but if you didn't, that's a fun fact. But yeah, I mean, she's cool. She can use the Force. Like, she's strong with the Force. Now, a lot of people say, like, "Oh, she's Luke's daughter." I mean, I'm not throwing that theory out the window. I wouldn't be too mad at that if that was the case. But I would, in my personal opinion, I would like for her to be more of a random Force user. Just because, and having said that, a lot of people still think that she's Han Solo and Leia's daughter. Really, guys? Wouldn't they have known that they had a daughter? No, she's not. She's not their daughter. She's not Kylo's sister. Okay, that would have been pretty cool if they did that, but they didn't. So let that go. If anything, they're cousins. But the reason why I believe and I think that she shouldn't be related to them is because yes, this is the new generation of actors of Star Wars. And if you just make everybody related to each other, The Star Wars universe is so huge. Like, why would they make everybody related to each other? Why is it that it's like, oh, every Force user has to be a Skywalker? Like, come on now, you know what I mean? Like, expand it. You know, there are Force users that are not Skywalkers. Look at Obi-Wan, look at Qui-Gon Jinn, look at Mace Windu, look at Yoda. Like, they're not Skywalkers. They're Force users. You know what I mean? Like, not every Force user has to be a Skywalker. If they do make her his daughter, which I don't believe, because even like the time frame wouldn't work. Like Han Solo and Leia would have known that he had a daughter. Like, who would he have a daughter with? Like, whatever. If they somewhat manage to make her his daughter, and make her a Skywalker in some way, I'm not gonna be mad about it, but I think they should do something different with her. That's just my opinion. Which brings me to the surprise Skywalker, Kylo Ren. I know a lot of people don't like his character, okay? And the main reason why they don't like his character is because they say like, oh, he's too much of a baby, he throws too many tantrums. And you know what? Kylo Ren is exactly who I thought Kylo Ren was gonna be. Yes, they played him out, they hyped him up to be this super strong, super badass, like fucking dark side, you know, of the Force user. And he is, but he's not. The best way and the way I like to describe Kylo Ren is he's still very raw. He's still very green, okay? He hasn't yet developed completely, fully, to his full extent. And that's why he throws tantrums. That's why he can't, you know, overpass or, you know, overthrow fucking Rey's Force use with her mind and shit. Like, he's still not quite there. Yet, he thinks he is. And that's why I love him. Because Kylo Ren is a Star Wars fan, okay? I even think he was designed and modeled after Star Wars fans, like after us, you know, that we think, oh, we're the one that knows, you know, like, I think I'm the most like fucking Star Wars knowledgeable person in the world. No, I think I am, you know? And it's like, who really is? But we think we are. We think we know so much. And it's like, that's Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren thinks he's so badass. And yet he's not. Not yet. His tantrums, it shows his age. It shows his immaturity. It shows his rawness to with the dark side. He's not yet finished his training. And it shows. And I love it. Because it gives us time to see him grow in the dark side. To see him become this badass motherfucker who's just gonna fuck shit up. Okay? Because if we saw him fuck shit up because he was mad, he's throwing a tantrum, just imagine how much shit he's gonna fuck up later on when he has control, when he is this bad motherfucker. You know? I loved it. You know, I could talk for hours about Kylo Ren and why he is a badass and why people should like him, regardless of these little tantrums of his, you know, whatever. Like, that's who he is. It shows, like, his lightsaber, you know, it's all staticky and like really not conventional, and the way he dresses, it's all ripped and old and like it's not yet finished. And that's what I love about Kylo Ren. You know, if you guys want to talk about Kylo Ren, leave me comments down below, because I could go on for hours on this dude. Which brings me back to and leads me to Snoke. In a past video I talked about who I thought Snoke was, who I thought the Knights of Ren were. And kind of tie it in with Rey and her staff. I thought that if Snoke was indeed Darth Plagueis, that would be his staff, meaning that would be his lightsaber. I'm not throwing that theory out the window. I know he doesn't look like Plagueis looked in the expanded universe, but keep in mind that expanded universe is non-canon, so they could do whatever the fuck they want with the way Snoke looks, with the way Plagueis looks. So I still think it's Darth Plagueis, and I think that in the next movie, even though the staff in this movie might have just been a staff, I think that it's gonna play a big part in the next movie. I think it's a lightsaber. I think it is because Rey, even though it was just the staff, Rey always managed to have it either near her or with her. At every scene in the movie where you see her, she always has it. I still think it's Darth Plagueis. I really do. I do. I liked his look. I know a lot of people don't like it because they're like, oh well, like it's too CGI, whatever. I liked it. I had no problem with him. I think he looked fucking cool. Okay, I thought that even like the hologram of him like being so huge, I thought that was pretty cool. That was awesome. It made it different, you know. Um, Starkiller Base. It's kind of another Death Star. Okay, the fact that they made it bigger and more fucked up, it's still a Death Star. I still liked it. I had no problem with it, with the fact that they destroyed it in the first movie. Um, I mean, it's another Death Star. Um, Hopefully, they have something better in the next one. Rather than having a Death Star, they live in a planet that doesn't have a fucking weak point or something. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully. But whatever. I liked it. I thought it was original that it drained the sun and that's what it used to destroy shit. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, so kind of going back to Rey and Kylo. I'm kind of mad at Kylo just because, and it's not because he kills Han Solo, okay? Because you know what? Let me talk about this real quick. A lot of people are saying they're mad and they can't like Kylo and they're upset at the movie because Han Solo died. Han Solo had his time, okay? Han Solo and the other characters, they had their time in the old movies. They did what they needed to do. They already. This is the new generation, okay, of Star Wars. There's no sense of bringing Han Solo back because they're like, oh, he's gonna be back. You know how much of a middle finger that would be to fans? He's dead, okay? Deal with it. He's dead. Did I like that he died? Not really, but it's it sucks because he's such a beloved character. But if he had to die, he had to die, and they did it for a reason, okay? Because this is not the story about Han Solo and Luke. My cousin had mentioned that I'm mad because they killed them and they should have just utilized them in the next movie. And it's like, no. These movies are not about the old generation. It's about the new generation. Okay, I knew Han Solo was gonna die for a long time. Like I had speculated that. I had that theory myself. Like he's gonna die. He has to. Harrison Ford is old. Okay, how long? Like what are we, okay? Let's say they didn't kill him off, and they're bringing him in the next movie. They're gonna kill him in the next movie. Okay, how many times? Sorry, I'm getting a call. How many times has like what I mean? What's gonna happen? Like what's gonna be the reasoning of why all of a sudden he disappears in the next movie? It's like they have to kill him off. Okay, they have to kill off his character. They're probably gonna do the same thing with Luke. They're probably gonna do the same thing with Leia. Okay, they're gonna end up dying in the movies just because they're old and they did their time. They did their own thing. Okay, the fact that they brought him in for these movies is awesome because they're bringing back what Star Wars fans wanted, but it's just kind of like a segue. Like, okay, here we're handing them off to the new generation. That's cool. So anyway, Han Solo no, I'm not mad at Kylo because he killed Han Solo. I'm mad at Kylo because, dude, this dude likes to change clothes so much. Okay, and the fact that at the end, the end fight between him and Rey, she kind of fucked him up a little bit, and he left the damn helmet at Starkiller Base. Makes me believe that he's gonna have a different costume, and I'm pissed because now all the time and all the money that a lot of us have spent to do the Kylo cosplay is gonna change in the next movie. So that's why I'm mad. But that's a personal feeling of mine. Whatever. So now, talking about Rey and her Force use. A lot of people, again, they say, the whole Skywalker, whatever. I really hope that she's not a Skywalker again. I really hope that she has, another whatever. Now, I had heard, and I just remember this, I heard just recently about a theory of her being a Kenobi, okay, related to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, it sounds crazy, but in her Force vision, in the Force vision, somebody says Rey, and it's clearly Obi-Wan Kenobi, okay? The name Rey is said by Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I'm not throwing that theory out the window just yet. I don't know how they would tie it in, because I don't know how she would be a Kenobi. She would have to be like his granddaughter, but then he would have to be married, whatever. But I'm not throwing it away. It's interesting. But she's so strong with the Force. That is one thing that I didn't particularly completely like. The fact that she's untrained, completely untrained, yet she can fight fucking crazy with a lightsaber. Yes, Kylo was wounded by Chewbacca when he got shot, which I love that fucking scene where he's just like, oh, like just pumping himself up and just trying to like forget about the pain. Like that was fucking cool. Yes, he's hurt, and yes, she can take advantage of that. That, he is hurt already, and Finn already hurt him too. And so and that's why she kicks ass. But I don't know, it made it to me a little bit like cliche, like, when he's like, oh, like, I can show you how to use the Force, and she closes her eyes, and then she opens it, and she's a badass. Like, come on, like, really? Yet, I still love the movie, I still love her character, whatever. In my opinion, Finn should have died, okay? Kylo Ren split his whole back, his whole spine open. How is he not dead? Okay? He's not dead, because at the end of the movie, like when she's talking to Finn, he's breathing. Okay, so I know he's still alive. They're not just gonna kill him off right away. But holy shit, okay? Like that should have killed him. I don't know how he didn't die from that. But we'll have to see what happens in the next movie, how he comes back, if he's like in a wheelchair or something, like, cause there's no way that this dude can walk after that. It went from butt to top of the neck, like that, woof, completely up. Anyway, I don't think he's dead, and I hope he's not. Come on, like, he's a pretty cool character. I just hope that they bring him back in a different way. He can't just be like, oh look, I'm fine. Like, no, not from a fucking slides like that. Okay. So brings me to one of my last points. Luke Skywalker. I knew he was only gonna be there for 5 minutes, if not less, okay? That's why he wasn't in the toys, that's why he wasn't in the trailers, that's why he wasn't in the posters. I'm not mad. I'm not mad that he was just there. Could he have said something? Yes. One line, anything. But I'm not too mad that they left him not saying anything. I think just by seeing the lightsaber that Rey's handing him, he's just showing how shocked he is. Like, he's like, where the... first of all, like, who the fuck are you? And second of all, like, how the hell did you have that lightsaber? That was attached to my hand in Cloud City, okay? When it got cut off. Like, come on. Like, what? I would be like, oh shit. Like, Which brings me to something that I say that I would have loved for his line to be like, oh shit. That and then end the movie there. That would have been pretty funny. But I think they're gonna utilize him a lot more in the next movie. Hopefully not too much, because again, this is about the new people, the new generation of Star Wars. So hopefully they don't overuse him. Um, but hopefully he does have a pretty cool fight scene or something. Um, but yeah, overall, I loved the movie. Um, yes, I didn't like that there's a lot of questions still unanswered. For example, who the fuck are the Knights of Ren? Okay, who the fuck are they? They came out 2 seconds. That's it. I really hope that they really show who they are in the next movie. They really show what they can do. Um, they answer, how Kylo Ren really became Kylo Ren, who Rey is, what Luke has been doing this whole time. Um, but overall, it's a great movie. It's an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it and you're watching this, by the way, don't hate me because of all the spoilers. Because if you haven't seen this movie by now, you don't care. Or you're not that big of a fan to really give a shit. So, yes, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. I don't give a shit, okay? I don't care. I waited long enough to talk about this. But yes, overall, I love the movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. If you've seen it, go see it again. It never gets old, and I'm never tired of it. I want to go see it more. I think I might go see it this weekend again with my cousin. I don't think I'm gonna be able to see it as many times as I want, just because of time and money and shit. But you better believe that as soon as it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, I'm gonna get that shit like right off the bat. That first day, I'm gonna be that first person in line, just because I loved it. I love the movie. Again, there are some minor details, Phasma, questions unanswered, etc. But overall, it's a great movie. I think that they did what they needed to do. They delivered. They didn't disappoint Star Wars fans how the prequels did. Um, Overall, it's a great movie. I'm gonna stop rambling now. If you guys want to talk more Star Wars, I want to talk to you about it. I can talk for hours about this shit. I'm a huge fan. So leave me comments below. Like this this video. Subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. And may the force be with you always.